Well, we have 4 or 5 guys who we feel like we'll have the opportunity to, be those 3 guys on the weekend. Certainly having 3 of our 4 starters last year with James Nygren and Osich and Sammy G gone, opens the door for some people, also creates a problem for us as far as, not seeing some of those guys in the wars. Benny Wetzler will definitely be in the rotation. He's a guy that pitched there last year. I thought did a very good job. You got some really good young kids with Jace Fry. I think Jace Fry can pitch anywhere. Carlos Rodriguez, Riley Wilkerson, those guys are all freshmen, and Dylan Davis. So, I mean, they'll kind of figure it out themselves, and everybody will get the opportunity early. And then there's the returning guys, too. We'd like to stay the same at the end of the game as we've been. We've been pretty good at the end of the game with Boyd and Bryant. Whether we can do that or not remains to be seen. Matty Boyd would love to be a starter. I think he's very capable of being a starter. If we had our wishes, we would stay the same at the end of the game, and that's Boyd to Bryant. So, but it's tough doing that. You got to be ahead to do that.
Wes was kind of up and down last year, so do you feel that what he needs to work on the rest of the season is consistency?
I do, and I tell you that's a great question, because I've talked to Benny about that the other day. It's kind of funny, because we were blessed with some older guys with Nygren and Osich and Sammy G that had experience. I think our expectation level of Benny Wetzler was a little bit maybe over the top a little bit. It was almost like that we weren't allowing him to have any room for error. I mean, I remember Dallas Buck, who's an icon here. I think he was 4-5 as a freshman. I think Benny won 6 games last year, and so I just think Benny was a lot better than we gave him credit for. And yeah, he has to get more consistent. I think that he got himself in some positions at times that he felt like he was cruising along pretty good, like in the 5th and the 6th, and then all of a sudden something would go wrong, and he would buy into that instead of just staying the course. So I think the maturity as far as being on the mound, I think as far as having that experience will really, really help Benny, and his stuff's plenty good.
You're about 3 weeks from playing the game. Are there priorities of what needs to get done these 3 weeks? Special to this team, or get done in the fall?
I think that the one thing that we have to do is we have to get our guys in some game situations. I know some teams have already scrimmaged. You can't start practice till Friday, but you can do some captain stuff, and we don't do that. But we feel like that we got to get some simulated games in. We got to get some situational innings in, and it looks like we're going to be able to do that Friday and Saturday. The weather's going to hold. But I think that we have a good idea of what we're going to do when they turn the lights on and start calling balls and strikes. It's just whether they do it or not, and that sometimes is last year I when I was talking to our staff the other day, Ryan Dunn started in the bullpen, and Jordan Poyer was in right field. And, we obviously finished the season drastically different. Ryan Dunn, if you arguably was the most valuable player in our club last year. We lost Susak in the 3rd game of conference for almost the entire conference, and he came back and wasn't the same guy just because he had been out for so long. He's out for 6 weeks. So I don't think we did what we could have done what we did last year without Ryan Dunn on that side of the game. So the mystery is always out there, and that's the good thing about competition. We will always have competition for positions, and I think it creates pretty lively situation for practices.
Coach, other than the look and the maintenance factor, the change of home plate going to turf, how will that affect? You see it affecting the game?
Just I've given up. I could never see myself turfing home plate because I'm a baseball guy. First it was the grass, and now it's home plate. I don't know, man. I think Ralph Coleman might be rolling over right now on me, but I know the guys were out hitting on the field yesterday that they wouldn't have been without the thing turf. So it hopefully it doesn't change the game at all. If it does, it would be a little surprising to me. I guess you'd have to ask the hitters. I don't know. I've never played on turf.
Can you talk about Jace a little bit, what he brings to the mound? I know he's going to be a freshman pitcher. What kind of pitches he has, and how excited are you to have a guy like him on your roster?
Well, I think Jace Fry could pitch anywhere in the country. I just think he's, very mature for where he's at. He's tough. He's there's a lot of guys that have good stuff and they're not very tough. There's a lot of guys that are tough and don't have very good stuff. When you get those kind of combined, Dallas Buck was one of those guys that I would tell you that not only did he have good stuff, he was a headhunter. He'd come after you. And Fry is very, very similar, maybe even more polished with his stuff, than Dallas was. And I'm excited about Jace Fry. I'm excited about a lot of guys. I really am. I think there's guys that Jace had the opportunity to pitch in the collegiate league this summer, so he got that. And then that puts you miles ahead of some other people. Carlos Rodriguez pitched down at San Luis in their collegiate summer league. So, we'll see. But Fry's going to be, I think Fry's going to be, he's going to be one of the best guys to ever throw here, in my opinion.
With Jace, comes in with a lot of height,
Yeah.
a lot of expectations. You just talked about that Wets had to manage those last year. Have you already talked with Jace about making sure he doesn't get in his own way?
The thing about, there's a lot of guys you have to talk to, and there's a lot of guys you have to, there are certain things that you recognize immediately in young men. And one is, lack of confidence maybe in somebody. Maybe another one is lack of discipline. Maybe in another one it's, we didn't tell him that it was school and baseball. Whatever it may be, Fry is a guy that I think he just looks at you like, hey, coach, I got it. I got it. And then, Darwin Barney had the it factor, and Ellsbury had the it factor, and Buck had the it factor, and I really think Fry does. I just think he's got it. And, I will, if the enemy's coming over the hill, I want Fry in the dugout with me. How about that? For sure.
Your 18th season coming in, you still feel the same excitement headed into?
Absolutely. I think that I'm not sure if excitement. When you get to this time of the year, there's always that, hurry up and wait. We can't wait to play, but we know we got work to do. That never changes. I think that there's a lot of things that you want to, you feel like that you want to have done and ready to go when the season starts that you're always concerned about. And I think that, we're definitely fired up about getting going and playing the game, but we're also very well aware there's a lot of work to do between now and the 17th of February.
Had a lot from the previous catchers on last year's team. Where do you see that position, or how do you feel about your candidate?
Well, Susak is off the chart. I think Andrew Susak will probably catch in the big leagues. He's got some unbelievable tools. Parker Berberette filled in like a. It was pretty impressive. I don't know what our record was with Parker catching in conference, but it was pretty darn good. So we had two quality guys. One guy in Parker Berberette who brought some unbelievable leadership and some wisdom and some maturity and some of the intangibles. Another guy in Susak who just had raw talent and was awful good. Somewhere along the line in the mix of that bunch of guys that were running out there this year, somebody's going to have to emerge and man up a little bit. I'm not sure who it is right now. Ryan Gordon is a guy that we saw catch in the summer that we really like. We really think he can catch and throw. We got a freshman kid in Nate Esposito who's going to be real good. Jake Rodriguez has put his time in there in the fall and has done a real nice job. And then there's always that, like I said, there's always that Ryan Dunn that surprises you somewhere and somebody emerges and plays someplace where you didn't think that they would. And that maybe that's a position that happens. I don't know. Maybe it's right field. I don't know. Maybe it's that third starter that you thought was going to be a year away. So the catching thing is a little bit of a mystery. I got to be honest with you there. When you lose a sophomore to the draft, you're not always maybe as well equipped as you should have been for filling that slot. We probably could have done a little differently and had a little better foresight. But that'll be a solid position for us. There's no question, and we will defend behind the plate.
You talked about the overachievement last year. How much of that intangible quality returns to this team?
Boy, I hope a bunch. It's you got to get out there and see it. When they cross the white lines, things change, and there's a storm coming. And everybody knows it. But how you prepare for it is just a part of it. And I think that everybody prepares for it, but how you actually handle it when you're in the middle of it. Because when you play 56, you get knocked around, and you have good days, you have bad days, and you got to weather it. And I think that we have enough pieces of the puzzle back. Ryan Dunn would be a key to that, and I know I keep bringing his name up, which there's a reason for that. I think Jake Rodriguez is in the middle of that. Matty Boyd's in the middle of that. And then again, like I said, some of those first-year guys, somebody's going to have to step up and do something that, Brian Barden did it many, many years ago, and Darwin Barney did it, and, we could go on and on. But somebody in there, Michael Conforto or Dylan Davis or Carlos Rodriguez or somebody has to step up and fill a spot, because we will play some first-year guys, no question. We just lost too many guys. But I think there's quite a bit of the intangible there.